What's up, guys, and welcome to the first episode of Marvel Mondays. I am your host, O-Easy, and I hope everyone is having a marvelous Monday. Ladies and gentlemen, I am extremely excited to start this podcast series, talk series, whatever you want to call it. And if many of you know me, I'm a huge Marvel fan. I love the MCU. I love Marvel. Marvel is my favorite above all of them. DC is starting to roll back with their 10-year plan for movies, but come on. Marvel is not declining anytime soon. And also, Spider-Man is in the background. He's my favorite character. I am extremely excited to start this podcast series to talk more MCU news because there's a lot of stuff to talk about. That's 3 years of movies have been announced. Like, what? And it's leading to what I said is going to lead to Secret Wars. I am extremely excited for the future. So let's talk about the future. And let's begin with Spider-Man Freshman Year. Now, this is a animated series that is a prequel to MCU Peter Parker 616. But when more stuff came out, like the image with Norman Osborn being there instead of Tony Stark, people were like, what the heck? They were like, what the heck is going on? This ain't the prequel to 616 Peter, because Tony Stark's supposed to be there. Tony Stark is supposed to be there in that frame of time. And people were saying it's not canon. It is canon. Some people are saying it's an alternate universe for when Doctor Strange did the memory wipe spell. To make people forget Peter Parker's Spider-Man and just remember Spider-Man. That's also false. In my theory, I think this is the ultimate universe for the MCU, like the Ultimate Comics. If you haven't read the Ultimate Comics, go check them out. They're amazing. They're really good comic books, and this is going to be the ultimate universe for the MCU. Let's start with Norman. Let's start talking about Norman. Norman Osborn at the start of the series, he'll be like a mentor, just like a Tony Stark would be to Peter Parker. He will help him out, give him technology, give him suits, all that kind of stuff to help him like enhance his spider abilities. But he will become a villain. He will 100% become the Green Goblin down the road. And he will be like the Tony Stark that was like in the first movie before he became Iron Man. You know, he will be like the guy who wants to make technological weapons and be the most technologically super-powered powerhouse in the world and make Oscorp the most powerful company in the world, probably beating out Tony Stark Industries, but yeah, Norman will have a big role in the series as a mentor and as a villain for Peter Parker. Daredevil and Doctor Strange will also be in the series. Excited about that. Daredevil, I think he'll be a mentor character. He will 100% be a mentor character. I don't know how big of a role he'll play in the entire series, but he will be a mentor character in this series, most likely helping Peter out with some villains, probably fighting some like street level villains, teach him responsibility, how to be a better hero. Doctor Strange, on the other hand, I don't think he'll have much of a presence in the first few seasons of the show because the season 2 has been announced. But he will be in the No Way Home portion because, according to the creators of the show, it will play out, like some of the events will play out just like MCU Peter. Homecoming will happen with Vulture. Far From Home will happen with Mysterio. And then No Way Home will happen when Mysterio reveals Peter's identity and Multiverse breaks out. And this is where Multiverse comes in. This is why this is the Ultimate Universe. Miles Morales will be introduced for the first time in the MCU in this series. I 100% guarantee there's no way. They meet in Secret Wars because of the collision of 1610 and 616 universes together. Peter and Miles meet for the first time in those universes, like 616 Peter and 1610 Miles. 616 Peter, 1610 Peter and 1610 Miles meet in their own respective universe. But just like the Ultimate Universe, I think Peter is going to die in the series in the No Way Home part of it, and Miles will become the Spider-Man of that universe. Miles will 100% be in the series. He'll make his presence known. People are wondering where is he going to come in. I think he's going to come in the series. It's going to be exciting, and I cannot wait to see it as a Spider-Man fan. I'm excited to see this. Um, let's move on to Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Now, this will be a big movie. It's going to be an emotional movie. Chadwick was an incredible actor. Major respects for Marvel to not recast him. People are not liking it, but I'm like, it's his character. There's no one else that will beat out T'Challa, unless you do a multiversal variant or something. But I don't think he'll be beaten out anytime soon. So, and plus, the Black Panther is not a person; it is a mantle. It's not. It's like being a king. It's a mantle. Just passing it on and on and on to the next generation, the next, and the next, and the next. So it eventually was going to be passed on. So don't be complaining, guys, and don't send hate comments. Be excited for this movie, because this movie's gonna be incredible. Not just because it's gonna be a tribute to Chadwick, but it's also gonna be a big movie for the MCU going forward. And the first topic is Namor gonna be the true villain in this film. It's a 50-50. It depends on the one, the only how Victor Von Doom shows up in this series, in this movie. Excuse me. It will depend on that. Now, if Doctor Doom is shown halfway through the movie as the main villain, yeah, Namor is not the true villain in this film. But if he's shown at post-credit scene, Namor would probably be like a little minor villain, like a major, like the main villain of the film, but it's not going to do too much, Wakanda and stuff like that. They can rebuild and stuff like that, and sure, it becomes Black Panther, yada, yada, yada. But Doctor Doom must be introduced in this film. I will get to that later. Because I have a whole section of Doctor Doom in my notes that I want to talk about today. I'm super excited for Doctor Doom to show up in the MCU. Who will be the next Black Panther? Like I said, Shuri's the most likely option, but I have two more choices. In Baku, because of his strength, and him being good friends with T'Challa, makes him a good candidate, but he's also arrogant, so I don't know if he will be Black Panther. He's the least likely. And also a multiversal variant or of good Killmonger, like a actually pure and good Killmonger that doesn't want to kill people. I think if you're going to introduce multiverse in this film, this is the best way to do it, and to make him like Black Panther. Like, seriously, it'll be the best thing they could do for multiverse in this film. There's no other way to introduce multiverse in this film besides making a Killmonger variant in this film. So, yeah. Next, we'll move on to Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Now, I don't have many things in my notes, because there isn't very much shown in this film, for this film yet. I'm very excited for it. Kane is going to be awesome in it. But there's not very much shown, because the only trailer we got is only showed at Comic-Con, and Disney's taking it down from people who filmed it on YouTube, so you can't really do anything for it. But my first question is, who does Bill Murray play in this film? I'm kind of curious. I am really, really curious on who Bill Murray plays in this film. I think he plays that little, like, king or mayor or whatever, president of this little city that's in the quantum realm that they showed, but I'm not really sure who Bill Murray plays. People say he's playing MODOK, but I don't think that's happening. How does MODOK play a role? Speaking of MODOK, how does MODOK play a role in this film? I think he's gonna be just a minor villain. It's gonna be the most hilarious thing. I saw his look that they leaked out in something. Like, it looks like a robot, but that's not what MODOK looks like. MODOK's just a big fat head in a wheelchair, flying wheelchair. But I think he'll be like a minor villain, a secondary villain in Kang. Kang's gonna be the main villain in this film, and but I think MODOK will have a great presence in this film. I think his let's just say his presence will be known in this film. He will be threatening, but he won't be as threatening as Kane will be. Kane will be more threatening in this film, 100%. And speaking of Kane, will this Kane variant in this movie, Kane Conqueror, be defeated? No. I think Ant-Man, Cassie, and Wasp will lose in this film. They will lose to Kane. They will lose. And I think And I think Kang will cause more chaos after this film because that's how we get the Secret Wars. Um, yeah, I think he's gonna cause more chaos. I don't think he's gonna be defeated in this film. And that's the end of it. He won't be killed because Kane's unkillable. He's the most unkillable thing in the Marvel universe, unless you go back to Nathaniel Richards, but and kill him. But Richards on this, so we don't need that. But anyway, for speaking of Kane, what we're gonna move on to how the Kane Dynasty will be a major presence in the MCU. What variants of Kane will we see? So we know we've already seen He Who Remains. He is now dead. There may be a variant of him out there somewhere that may help the Avengers in Kane Dynasty. We don't know yet. But there's also Kane the Conqueror, which is in Ant-Man. There's also Kane from the TVA, that's taken over the TVA, which we've seen in Loki season 2. And there's probably gonna be even more variants that will be introduced that we don't know of yet. Excuse me. I can't. What is wrong with my English today? They will all have a major presence in the MCU. They will be all part of the Kane Dynasty. They will all be the villains of Kane Dynasty. All the Kanes, except for probably the He Who Remains one, but all the Kanes will be the villains of the Kane Dynasty. I'm excited for it. It is Kane working with Doctor Doom. I have no idea. They work together in the comics. I don't know if they're gonna be like a tag team kind of thing. I think they may be acquaintances, but I don't think they'll be like a tag team like the two like big bads of the movies. I think they'll be big bads in their respective rights. So I think Kane's gonna be the Phase 5 big bad, and then Phase 6 is gonna be all Doctor Doom. But they'll be acquaintances. They'll bump into each other. They sometimes have the same motives for how they want to run things, even though Kane's more trying to find his love through time and stuff like that, and Doctor Doom's like, rule all, conquer all, be better than all, or kill all. Like, that's how Doctor Doom runs. But what will happen when the Kane Dynasty ends? Simple. Incursions everywhere. Multiverse goes into chaos. All the Kanes die. There's no one left. There's no one left to piece together a falling multiverse, but one and the only Victor Von Doom, and it's time for the rise of Doctor Doom. Oh man, where do we start with Doctor Doom? How and when will he be introduced in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? He's either going to be introduced in She-Hulk, and a little cameo, is just like, hey, I'm here, I'm here, my presence is here, or Black Panther Wakanda Forever. He must be introduced as soon as humanly possible. Okay? He must be in these two films, or these two projects for the MCU. He must be in one of these two, or both. Doctor Doom is going to be so important. So important for Secret Wars. And how Battle World is created. What films will he have a presence in? He probably will have a cameo in She-Hulk. He will have a presence in Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Ant-Man the Wasp Quantumania, I don't think he'll be in there. Just Kane's will be more of a presence. Also, MODOK's in there, so you probably don't need a second fiddle in there. Secret Invasion, I think he'll be in there. Because he's a political figure. I think he'll help out with the Secret Invasion thing. Because people don't trust heroes anymore once the Skrulls start invading and revealing themselves, because they disguise themselves as the Avengers and all the different heroes. But I think Doctor Doom will be like a helpful hand to trick people, and he'll be like, "Hey, I can help you with this invasion. You know, I have the resources, I have the money, I have the power, I have the weapons you need. Let us take on this threat together, you know, and build trust." And we build sympathy and trust for Doom as we keep pushing forward. And Echo, I don't think he'll be in there. Now another project in Phase 5 that people are not excited about is Agatha. I would be excited for this because I think he'll be in this. I think Doctor Doom will be in this, because if many do not know that Doctor Strange, Doctor Strange. I know Doctor Strange wields magic. Doctor Doom, wields magic. His mother was a witch. Agatha could know this. Could know her. when she was alive. Yes, we will witness the birth and rise of Doctor Doom within the series. Doctor Doom will have very much of a presence in the series, and all this will lead up to Fantastic Four. And I think the Fantastic Four will be sprinkled throughout the MCU, like the members of them will be like making cameos here and there, until we lead it into Fantastic Four. So I think Doctor Doom's going to lead us to the Fantastic Four, whereas before the Fantastic Four will lead us to Doctor Doom. I think that's going to happen in the next two phases. So we will see. But Doctor Doom will very much have a presence in the MCU. How powerful will he become? He becomes God Emperor Doom. What do you mean how powerful he will become? He becomes God Emperor Doom and creates Battleworld. Now, there's another topic I have in here. Who will he create it? I don't know if Molecule Man, Owen Reese, or the Beyonders will be part of this version of Secret Wars. We do not know yet if they will be, but if they are, they will have a major part in creating Battleworld. Now, Doctor Doom may take the power of He Who Remains and do the same thing he did to create the Sacred Timeline by creating Battleworld and mashing it all together and creating this one universe. But I'm not so sure how he'll do it, but Battleworld will be a big thing for Doctor Doom in the future. And yeah, Doctor Doom, man. He will be the villain of Phase 6. 100%. He'll be the villain of Phase 6. He'll have much more of a presence. I'm going to say it again. He'll have much more of a threatening presence than Kang. 100%. He'll be more powerful than Kang. He'll be stronger than Kang. He'll be more threatening than Kang. Because he's not only smart, but he's powerful. He's one of the smartest beings besides Reed Richards' daughter and Reed Richards in the Marvel Universe. So we will see that in these next two phases, especially Phase 6, once Doctor Doom finally takes control. Because we're going to have all the sympathy built for him in Phase 5. But then in Phase 6, he starts turning evil and stuff like that. I mean, come on. Doctor Doom is going to be the biggest villain that we've ever seen in the MCU. And Secret Wars will be a culmination of Phases 1 through 6, not Phases 4 through 6. It's going to have everybody. Everybody you can think of in Secret Wars. And speaking of Secret Wars, here's my theories. I've already said Doom 100% to be the villain. He will be the villain of this. He'll become God Emperor Doom. He'll become the most powerful being in the universe. It's going to be crazy. Miles' freshman year universe, or 1610, I'll call it 1610, and Peter for 616 me for the first time in Spider-Man 4. I think Spider-Man 4, next episode, we'll get into where all the movies will fit into Phase 6. There's just a lot of empty spaces in Phase 6 that need to be filled in D23. I think Spider-Man 4 will be introduced after the Kang Dynasty. Or before. Literally right before. Because we have to explain how Peter meets Miles when their universes collide. Because Peter's still a street level hero. He's not involved in the cosmic stuff anymore. No one knows who Peter Parker is anymore. But that's how they meet. You have to explain how they meet. And Spider-Man 4, I think, will be the story of how they meet for the first time. How 616, Peter, and 1610 Miles meet for the first time in the MCU. And I'm very, 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 very excited to see it. And I think it will also be a mix of the 1980 run, and the 2015 one. But I think 2015 will be the main story, the comic story, that Marvel is taking to build their versions. So if you guys do not know, there's two versions of the comic versions of Secret Wars. There's 1980s where the Beyonders just pulled a bunch of teams of the Marvel Universe into Battle World and plopped them there. Galactus, Doctor Doom, and all the villains and stuff. They just said, fight. We just want to see you fight. And the winner gets his wish come true. And then the 2015 ones where Doctor Doom makes Battle World. And basically reality is at stake, and he becomes this god emperor and wipes the memories of everyone that lives there and stuff like that to make them think that Doctor Doom created everything. And they're going to pull out elements from both stories, but they're significantly probably going to take from 2015's run by Hickman. And speaking of Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield will return in this film. They will return. This will be their reunion. And I think Peter will get the black suit in Secret Wars 2. And then, well, in Spider-Man 4, I think he'll probably get the black suit. It probably make more sense when Peter gets the black suit in Spider-Man 4 and finally feels for it. And once Tobey sees the black suit, that's when Tobey initiates the fight with 616 Peter. That's gonna be crazy. I can't wait to see that. And I'm gonna get emotional just talking about this part. I already see it in my head. It will come down at the end of it because everyone will perish. It will come down at the end of it to these two characters in an emotional battle for reality. Reed Richards and Dr. Doom. Reed Richards and Dr. Doom. Just like it ends in the 2015 Hickman run of Secret Wars, it will end with them. And it will end with Reed Richards resetting the entire universe with his family. I think that's going to happen. It's going to be insane, and I cannot wait to see these two fight. These two are the pinnacle starting hero and villain of the MCU, of Marvel. Excuse me, of all of Marvel. Fantastic Four is the first family, and Doctor Doom's the first villain. Why not have them play a big role in one of the biggest stories in Marvel to date, like in the MCU? Like, it'd be crazy not to end it with them. And it'll be an emotional battle for their families, for the reality itself, for the multiverse. It's gonna be insane, and I cannot wait to see it. And guys, that'll wrap up episode 1 on an emotional note. Next week for episode 2, I will be discussing the Fantastic Four and how I think that movie will play out, and discussing each of the members, and also where all the Phase 6 slots are going to be filled. What movies are going to fill those slots. Until next time, guys, have a marvelous day, and Excelsior, true believers.